way, although who knows? Who knows? All right. There we go. Just came up for me. Huh.
Oh,
hey, it's 8:04. You were almost right. Welcome to Talking Heads, everyone. Episode 175, your once-weekly live show for the latest in beer and tech news. I'm Jeff.
I'm John.
Welcome to the show, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us on this Wednesday night or in podcast form on the replay over on Anchor.fm or wherever your favorite podcasts are found. If you've never seen the show before, we talk beer, we talk tech, we talk games, pop culture, entertainment, usually some Star Trek. This is a family-friendly show in both language and content. We do drink alcohol on this show, and if you are drinking along with us, alcoholic or not, let us know in the chat so we can give some early show shout-outs as we go along. All super chats are read on the air so long as they meet those family-friendly criteria. And if you want to join the super secret chat and the even more super secret after party, think about joining the Floatplane or Patreon. Links are both down in the video description. You'll get access to the exclusive Discord server where you can chat with myself, John, Rhett, Steve, all of the hosts from Talking Heads, and keep the conversation going with the awesome community over there. Now that's an intro.
That was a pretty. That's got to be probably top three.
That's number one. No, that's seriously number one.
I mean, you should just take that audio out and just
cut it. Right.
Cut it every time.
I'm just gonna drop that from now on.
Drop that and then just like sync it up with some animated video.
Right. I'm gonna do an animated video and we're gonna come back and I'm gonna be. Oh, sorry.
Yes, exactly. That's what we need to do.
Oh man. Welcome to the show. How you doing, John?
I'm tired. I am tired. I've spent the weekend and then cutting a bunch of trees up, and then this Monday through even today, work has just been. You know when you're in IT and people complain to when you were in IT, heads of departments would complain to you, even though it's not your responsibility, but they won't talk to each other.
Yes.
They use you as a buffer.
Yes.
Or the babysitter. That's just been going on for like the past 3 days, and it's just like be adults and talk.
I was called in to. We're going to go off the rails for a couple of seconds here. But yes, yes, you hit a nerve, especially because I spoke to one of my previous colleagues who just literally had the same situation happen to him. And so it's like fresh in my mind. A couple of years ago, we had an incident in which one of our employees unexpectedly left. There was a death in their family, and they took off with like 2 hours notice, and they were gone for 10 days. Not my employee, not one of my staff, not someone I supervise, no one who's even tangentially related to my department, besides the fact that they had a computer on their desk and they did things with it. Other than that, IT had nothing to do with that position. So part of their job was they updated a database, a roster database for us, based on government reports and a couple other things to balance out some books. And that's basically a process that kind of sort of was automated by me, but it would still required a manual input from them, where they would take they would get the new database download, they would make sure it's in the right format and make sure there's no errors in it, and then they would upload it or drop it in a folder, and then there's an automated script that uploads it that day. And so I had automated the download and the upload, but it still required manual checks every single day before it went up. Well, that's not part of my department. That wasn't part of my supervision. That wasn't part of my duties. I assisted in the initial building of that the same way that I would assist in the facilities department getting the HVAC system up and going. Once the HVAC system up and going, I'm not the one who controls the air conditioning. Right.
Jeff, turn it up and down.
So I got called down to the CEO's office like 8 days in because that database had not been updated. And I was, quote unquote, belligerent to one of the supervisors who told me, well, it's your job. And I said, well, it's your employee. Well, you helped with the process. I said, yeah, but you're responsible for that process. And I said, and had you asked me 10 days ago when you knew about this, I would have been more than happy to work with you and go through the fixes. But I'm not going to undo that entire process because it is all password protected and encrypted. It was a pretty hefty file.
Yeah,
it's all set up.
It's all well-oiled machine
for that one employee to do. I'm not going to undo that process so you can upload one version of that database and then redo it when they get back because I need to re-encrypt everything. And at this point, no, you can count your losses, and in 2 days when that employee gets back, it'll be fixed. Apparently that was not being a helpful person or, finding every excuse I can, not a team player, finding every excuse I could not to help. It's like, well, yeah, you don't approach me and say, Thursday at 4:30 p.m., we need to do this really quick. Oh, by the way, this employee will be back on Monday.
Yeah. I know.
I'm not going to do work twice that shouldn't even have had to been done once. That should have been a process that happened with you. Anyway.
Rant.
Yeah. I'm so happy to be self-employed now. I can't even tell you.
Basically, it's something kind of similar. An employee that was a head of a department left, and they basically just said, hey, you did this for a whole nother department that's actually not even similar, but they just have the same title in it.
Yeah.
And they said, now you're in charge of it. But guess what? There's a whole new database and a whole new style that you have to learn. But we expect you to know everything right away. Because we've been dealing with this for 2 years, and this is the first day you're touching it.
Yeah.
And she's doing everything different. And then she comes to me and I tell her, this is how the database is programmed. This is how each department's supposed to do it. And then the department's heads are saying, no, this is how we're doing it now. And we're basically cheating the program and using it in different ways that it wasn't designed for. And now but we're not going to talk to each other to tell you like what actually is the best way. We're not even going to talk to IT to say, if you programmed it to be different, it would help us out a lot. Nope, that's not even going to be a discussion.
Right.
And I'm just in the middle being like, look, this is how the policies were. That's how it is.
Yep.
Until I hear from the owner, this is the policy.
Yep. Yep. And it's always fun to have those discussions about, well, why is the policy, or, someone tried to quote policy to me one time. And I said, I'm well aware of what the policy is. I wrote it 3 years ago.
Yes. Oh, I know. I know. I like it when, in this particular head of department will complain about the policy. And then I say, well, you were invited 3 years ago to be part of it for 6 months and you declined.
Yeah.
So we wrote it without you.
Yeah, that's also
not our fault.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Let's have some cocktails.
Let's have something to drink.
And John, I'm a little disappointed you're not wearing any green. What the heck?
Just tint it.
What the heck?
I'll be drinking something green later today.
Okay. Well, both of my drinks are greenish.
Okay.
They're not Irish, but they are greenish. So
okay.
Happy St. Patrick's Day to everyone, either today with the 4 hours that we have left, or
Happy St. Patrick Stewart's Day.
Happy St. Patrick Stewart. That's right. Let's see. You want to go first?
Sure. So if anyone was on Jeff's super secret Discord, they will know I kind of released 2 videos, and I'm going to be drinking those. This particular one is a beer cocktail. It is called a Stormy IPA. It is 2 ounces of a dark rum. And as much as I thought I was prepared, and then I'm like, I'm not going to move the camera or anything. So 2 ounces of dark rum. I was about to pour that in a glass, and I'm doing this backwards already because someone in the comment of the video said not to do this. So what it is, you need 6 ounces of an IPA.
Yep.
And I'll pour that at the bottom of my Pilsner glass.
Looks like a hop stash or a cryo stash.
Yeah, alpha.
Alpha,
basically.
yeah. Alpha Centurion.
Yep. And then 6 ounces of a ginger beer.
I'm a fan already. So it's a dark and stormy, but with beer.
It is a dark and stormy, but with beer.
Gotcha.
And so then 2 ounces. Then you take your shaker, fill it with ice. 2 ounces of dark rum.
Sorry, Slim Pickens says, a real Irishman doesn't care if the drink is Irish or not, just the fact that you're drinking. Here.
Here. And we will need 3/4 of an ounce of lime. No, I don't have fresh squeezed lime juice. Sorry, Jeff.
Ugh, you guys are killing me. I mean, Steve.
I had to go out and buy a lime just for this.
And if you're ever in a boat crash, you will be saved by the buoyancy of citrus.
Hope that's not too loud.
It's not terrible.
All right. Then we pour over the top lightly to create a contrast. For the top is dark and
I didn't watch either of
stormy.
your videos today. I had some other things going on, but
Oh, that's fine.
I like where this drink headed.
So there we go. So you now have that nice little contrast. And then you garnish with a lime wedge.
Awesome.
Which I actually do have.
Ooh.
But I didn't want to ruin my only lime.
Just in case you screwed something up.
Just in case. So a dark and stormy IPA.
That sounds really good. I'm a little jealous now.
It actually is pretty complex, and the flavors aren't complex, but it's very layered.
Yeah.
The first top, you get that lime and rum.
Yeah.
And the middle, you get that ginger beer, and the end, you get the ginger and beer.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a really fantastic summertime drink.
Oh yeah.
And
that looks delightful.
And I still have beer left.
You still have half a beer left.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So this is the best part.
Awesome. I'm gonna grab some ice real quick and one other ingredient. So.
All right. Let's see. Anyone in chat? Brian is having a Mountain Dew. Mountain Dew is green, so there we go. My lime is technically green, so there we go. Star Trek is green. Michael Stevens, yes. I will be doing that later.
If I can get my headphones back on.
Ooh, that is
there we go.
Nice.
Oh, Gear Seekers is asking for a Rambo appearance. Rambo is, I believe, sleeping in my daughter's bed right now. He was out for the count when I tucked them in. So I don't think we're going to get any Rambo appearances tonight. I am making a Midori Sour. So we are going with a full chartreuse green drink without any chartreuse. And one of my favorite things to do with a lot of sour drinks is the egg.
The egg. Oh,
skeeve some people out.
No,
but
my wife challenged me yesterday to make her a whiskey cocktail.
Mm-hmm.
And that I had one try, and she had to like it, and it was like a challenge. And all I did is I already know what to do,
right?
And I made her your version of or the
amaretto
sour,
or whiskey sour,
just a whiskey sour, but with the white egg, with the white, and she loved it. Yeah, and she really loved it. She was like, "Oh, this is great."
No, it's one of my favorite drinks, and like I said, you have to get past it has egg in it. But so does eggnog, and so do a lot of other cocktails. There's grogs. There's a whole bunch of other things that have egg, and egg white in a cocktail is just fantastic.
We still got to do that flip video.
We do need to do the flip video. We totally
have all the tools for it. And I've had it for 2 years. So
I know.
We've never done it.
Stupid COVID. All right. So we need, for a Midori Sour, we need a quarter ounce of lime juice, or excuse me, half ounce of lime juice, and a half ounce of lemon juice. And unlike John, I actually do have some fresh citrus here.
I mean, it's citrus.
There we go. Nice. I like it when my limes give me exactly half an ounce. There we go. Get a lemon going here. That, and I just love the smell when you
squeeze a lime.
When you squeeze a lime, man, it's good. There we go. So half ounce lemon, half ounce lime, 1 egg white. We're gonna do 2 ounces of vodka.
Interesting.
You can make this just straight up Midori with like 2 ounces of Midori. That gets a little too lemony for me, or melony for me, and not quite as much of a kick as I like in some of these cocktails. Because Midori is only a 40 proof liquor. It's not.
I thought it was like 30. I thought it was more of a. Was it a liqueur?
It's a liqueur. It's 20%, and so it's not a real heavy hitter. It does bring a lot of flavor, but it doesn't bring a lot of booze. And Lord, I can't get the top off.
Too much.
Well, I have a problem today, and my problem is I got the vaccine today, and my left arm feels like someone literally sucker punched me in the side.
So you're doing all your other.
Yeah.
And when was the last time you probably even opened that bottle too?
No, I just bought this bottle.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why it's not opening.
Did you take the seal off? Yeah.
The seal's not there. I don't know why this bottle is not opening.
Just like champagne it and ruin the bottle. It's not carbonated. Did it carbonate somehow?
It's not carbonated. What in the world?
What is the pressure? Most of those come with like artificial corks too.
Right.
They're pretty easy. They're usually pretty easy to open.
Yeah. No, this is a threaded bottle. It's just a bottle top.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I might have to find some pliers really quick.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. I'm gonna get something. Hold on.
And we were spending like a good 15 minutes before the show, like getting all of our stuff ready. I guess opening the bottles is not one. What do we got? People got my liver at least 40% scar tissue at this point. Rum and Coke slushy for Andrew. Oh, that's good. All right. You know, I don't think I've ever had a cock and bull by itself. Almost wish there was a little more ginger in it. I had spectacular ginger beer last time. I'm gonna add a little bit of that top. There we go. That's got a pretty big bite to it. I like a good ginger. Wow, Jeff's gone for a really long time. All right, well, let's see. What is everyone drinking in chat? We didn't get to that. I know we tried to. So like we said, though, we encourage you to join us with a drink. It does not have to be alcoholic at all. I know there have been some regular ones already, but we have Magic Rat is having a Jameson night. Good for you. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Although I think last time someone said Jameson isn't even true Irish whiskey, but whatever. I like it. Guinness for awesome is having some Guinness. I love a good Guinness. Fun fact, a pint of Guinness has less calories than a pint of orange juice. Think about that. Have that for breakfast. Ooh,
bloody hell.
Gigapilot, oh my gosh, is having an Adriat Theory Coven. Coven? Wow. And some corned beef and cabbage.
That's literally what it took to get that top off.
Really? Did you have to like...
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's a twist top, and now it comes right off. But it was on there, and it took some leverage. I was starting to fear for the top of the bottle.
Sealed freshness.
Anyway, where was I? 1 ounce of Midori. I just want to drink.
My arm hurts.
Yeah.
Just start pouring it onto your arm.
There we go. And normally with an egg white, you dry shake it. I'm just going to skip that this time. We're just going to shake it over ice.
You got enough acid in there, you'll be fine.
Exactly. Yeah, the lemon and lime will emulsify that egg very, very easily.
Yep.
So. Sorry about the noise. There we go. All right. Usually I go for the square ice, but the square ice won't fit in this glass, so I've got a round one.
And I know which one that is.
Yep.
It's the same one I'm going to use later today.
Actually, no, it's not yours.
It's not?
Nope, it's not. It's not the same mold. Haha.
I need to get more molds. Actually, I need to get the thing you have.
The cube one?
The cube one.
Man, it works well.
Yeah.
All right.
My son took over my round one. He likes, for some reason, thinks it's a popsicle. He calls it like a plain popsicle. So he just licks it.
Just fill it with Kool-Aid.
Well, we have regular popsicles. He just likes licking ice. Like, we'll fill his drink full of ice, and then he just likes licking the top of it.
Yep.
4-year-olds. The one thing I love about egg white drinks is the foaminess. It just lasts forever.
Yes.
It's got this nice creaminess to them.
And we have a Midori Sour.
Nice.
So,
it is green. I get the green.
Yeah, exactly. So
it's like a key lime green.
Yes. It will actually darken up as the egg rises to the top. Again, with I mentioned this in my last video, but with drinks that you're emulsifying egg white in and getting that like meringue style head, let the drink sit for a minute or two before you start drinking it to let all of that, the rest of that egg rise up. And you'll end up with a really thick head that lasts the entire drink.
It's like Guinness.
Yeah, it really is. So, yeah, these are I think I've only ever made a Midori Sour once, and it's been a while, but it sounded good tonight, and it's green. All right, now that I have my cocktail, I'm ready to do some tech news.
Now that I have my coffee,
that's exactly what I was doing.
See some radar.
Where is it? Right here.
Everybody got that?
Good. You're looking at now. All right. I don't even remember what the first story is. Can you give me a hint?
Linux.
Oh, that's right.
Linux.
There have been 2 brand new local user LVE or help me out.
I know. You know more about Linux than I do.
I know. Local account.
I don't know where. You know what? Hang on. You need a drink. You didn't even have a drink.
I haven't. I was waiting for the egg, but screw it. I need a drink.
Yeah.
Elevation. Thank you. That's no one said it. I thanked myself for that.
There you go.
Local account elevation. There, someone got it. Local account elevation, where if you have physical access to a machine, you can escalate yourself to a root privilege level, and basically take over the machine. I'm sorry. I'm all flustered now because I had to use a vice grip to open my cocktail.
You're still in like awe of like, how did that have to happen?
Very tart. Very, very tart, but good. All right. I'm feeling better now. Let's show the screen so we can actually
talk about it.
Oh, dang it. I forgot to resize the window. One sec. No, not that. Oh, come on.
Well, there's the beer news.
I'm trying out a new window orientation tonight, and I don't think I like it. Okay, do that. So, this over here. Over there.
There we go. There you go.
There we go. Like a well-oiled machine 175 episodes in. So 2 new Linux bugs were discovered 15 years later on, having to do with the iSCSI interface inside of the Linux kernel. Both of these are privilege escalation bugs, which means that someone with access to these protocols inside of a Linux box could, in theory, elevate their local account to a root level account and take over the machine. The reason this is kind of news is Whereas a lot of other escalation bugs I won't even talk about because they happen all the time or on a regular enough basis, but they are talked about in a capacity of, we found a bug, we already patched it, it's already been patched into the kernel, there was only like one affected version or one affected
one
extension
small area,
and it's already fixed by the time you hear about it. Those aren't the ones that are really interesting. This one's interesting because this protocol has been in place for 15 years.
And it's still going on.
And is still an active protocol. Right. Now, it's been fixed in the latest kernel release. And the iSCSI glitch, or the iSCSI extension, has also been patched. But 15 years is a long time. And there's a lot of servers out there that either stopped being patched or are still in production or whatever else that likely will never receive this patch. And the reason that's a big deal is this is an exploit that will pretty much never die because it exists and it's existed for so long. These are the ones that are really, really damaging to companies long term, unless they are, adamant about constant patches, which most data center companies are. There's a lot of small businesses and even large businesses that run their own stuff that aren't. And stuff like this falls through the cracks. And
yeah, I mean, so many times smaller companies are just like, it's working, don't touch it. And then their original IT guy that probably set it up probably left. And they're like, all right, nobody touch it. New guy, don't even touch this. I don't care. This is working. This is great. But if I do believe so, you have to have physical access to that server. You can't just remote in. Isn't that correct?
You just need to have access to the iSCSI, what's it called? Extension, protocol, whatever. Basically the iSCSI initiator inside of the Linux kernel. So if your local account or your account privilege grants you access to that extension, then you will be able to exploit it. So this can be done remotely, but you do have to have some kind of local level access to it.
Yeah.
Not necessarily physical, but you need to be able to use that particular protocol.
Yeah.
So yeah, unless you've locked out iSCSI from certain things, which if it's a web server, you've locked out iSCSI, or you should have. You have other problems if you didn't. But if there's local scripts that require iSCSI access, or just even local scripts that you've downloaded that run with privileges that allow iSCSI access, both of these exploits will be around for quite some time. So patch your servers, dang it. All right, now we get into the story of the week, which is the story that just will never go away. So nVidia either done goofed or nVidia done took us for a ride.
I think it's that one.
I'm split somewhere in the middle. I'm not exactly sure where I fall on this yet. So the news is that leading up to the release of the RTX 3060 12GB card, that NVIDIA had said, we have poured tons of development time into making sure that these cards land in the hands of gamers. And so we're going to start making crypto-only cards using the same GA106 die as the RTX 3060. And we're going to lock out the hashing rate of the 3060 consumer cards. So gamers get them and they're useless to miners.
Yeah, basically miners won't want to buy them because they're going to max out the capacity up to, or cut it down by 50%.
Right, it cuts down by 50%.
So miners, it basically just tries to get miners not to buy them.
Right. But in that initial statement, they said, this isn't just a driver. This is hardware and driver working in unison to nerf mining hashes. Well,
not so much.
Yesterday, NVIDIA released a beta driver for the RTX 3060 that unlocked Ethereum mining. Oh, and by the way, the nerfed hashing was only for Ethereum. It didn't affect any other mining operation.
Crypto, yeah.
It didn't affect any other crypto mine, just Ethereum. Well, lo and behold, nVidia announced or released their beta driver for the RTX 3060, and it unlocked Ethereum with no hardware check of any kind.
Nope, it's just a little driver in beta. It's like, okay, there it is.
Weird.
Here you go.
Huh.
Oh.
Never saw that coming.
That's why I guess I don't think it was nVidia taking us for a ride. I think when they said we developed or we put so much time into development, I think it really was just quick, someone throw this in there.
That's exactly what it was. There was no. This was all marketing. It was all marketing spin from the very beginning, because darn well that miners flash their own firmware and use their own drivers to get the most performance possible out of these cards. And they're still worth something on the secondary market when they sell them. So the incentive was there to get the RTX 3060s working. Now, here's the deal. Ethereum miners aren't the only people buying graphics cards right now. So nerfing one particular protocol does jack. Secondly, you clearly stated that this was a hardware and driver tie-in that will block block Ethereum mining or nerf hash rates down to 50% if it detects mining going on. Well, your hardware turned out to be just a straight up falsification.
Yep.
There is no hardware tie-in. There is no hardware denial of access.
Yeah, they said it was a checks and balances going back and forth, and this hardware needs to have this particular driver or this set to work functionally. If it didn't, it would crash.
Correct.
Essentially.
Right. So yeah, when your beta driver comes out and your beta driver fully unlocks the cards for all their mining potential, you done goofed. And again, I'm not necessarily on the nVidia took us for a ride. I will say, and I said from the very beginning, this is all marketing spin. Maybe this was a mistake. Maybe this was on purpose and they were hoping people wouldn't notice. But either way, they released a driver that spits in the face of their earlier promises from their marketing team. And it didn't really matter anyway.
Yeah.
So why were they attempting all this pomp and circumstance over, look, we care about the consumers and everything else, even though we're making hand over fist from selling cards to everyone else.
Yeah, we're selling cards to miners. It's easier for that.
Right. I mean, there is legitimately also short supply and short stock and supply chain limitations and logistics.
Well, maybe they
issues.
thought the people that had these are like, no one's even going to download this because there's not enough of them out there, and they're probably all being used for mining anyways.
Right.
Or trying their own hacking, like you said, flashing the card.
Right.
And so I don't know. This just seems like a stupid, like you said, not publicity, but they were marketing it up, and it just completely backfired, and no one checked the driver. I'm betting whoever developed this driver when NVIDIA was doing it developed it for the whole 3 series,
right.
The 3000 series, and not specifically for the 360 minus the mining.
Right. The exact mention from NVIDIA was, we inadvertently released a beta version of an internal tool for testing the blah, blah, blah. No, you forgot to add your 3 lines of hex that made mining not work. That's all this was.
They forgot to comment it out.
No, or they left it commented out when they were testing it.
Yeah, or something like that.
Like that's all this was. And again, there would have been no negative press repercussions had NVIDIA just stayed on the path they were, which is, we've made really great graphics cards. I'm sorry you can't buy any.
Yeah.
It's what AMD's doing. It's what NVIDIA's doing. Or what NVIDIA has done up to this point. Why they were trying to spin this when they knew darn well it wouldn't make a bit of difference. And people can show numbers that it wasn't going to make a bit of difference, let alone when the miners hacked the drivers, if they wanted to hack the drivers for Ethereum anyway, you knew it was going to get hacked because nothing's unhackable. The only possible outcome from this marketing spin was it blowing up in their face.
Yeah.
And it was just a matter of time. So NVIDIA set their own ticking time bomb, and then...
Yeah, well, like you said, even if the driver didn't work, everyone was going to figure out that it was just Ethereum.
Right.
And be like, whoa, you promised all. I mean, I guess technically they, depending upon their exact wordage, they could have said something, but...
Right.
Yeah, but still, they would have gotten, if it wasn't this news story, it would have been leaked out that, oh no, it's only Ethereum. And then we would have been talking about that this week.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Either way, they messed up.
But again, I knew this was spin from the beginning. I called it as such from the very beginning. And I didn't think it would blow up in their face quite as quickly, but I knew it eventually would. I just didn't expect it 1 week later. And I expected it to get hacked fairly quickly too. I didn't expect them to do it.
They're just like, you know what? We know it's. Maybe that was it though. Maybe they knew it was already out and going to be hacked, and then they're like, look, we'll just take the blame,
right,
and release a driver instead of being like someone hacked it and it's literally this simple and NVIDIA didn't promise it. I don't know. Maybe that's something they were thinking about.
Shoot yourself in the foot rather than
shoot yourself, then have someone else shoot you in the back.
Who knows? But yeah, we're all still frustrated. Just everyone's frustrated with the current state of PC building. I've talked a couple of times how I kind of saw this coming. I didn't think it was going to be nearly this bad, but with the pandemic and with the release of everything else, I expected there to be some short supply and some demand issues and things like that. Well, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, you'd think because of that, everyone's staying home and there's a lot more probably gamers, hobbyists, and then, miners.
Right.
Like, hey, look, I got some free time on my hands. I want to learn this thing.
Honestly, miners were the furthest thing from my brain because I figured we were past this from a state of profitability. We didn't expect in the second half of last year Bitcoin to go from 20,000 to 55. And that's what happened. So no one predicted
Elon
that.
Musk's fault.
Right. No, that's Doge. So no one in the tech space really predicted that, and if they did, they were probably full of it back when they predicted it. But a lot of us saw some logistics issues as potential for causing some supply constraints towards the end of last year, and even back into last summer, back in August and September. Around that time, I made a very conscious decision to. I'd been like 75% consumer content and like 25% consumer home lab and server content.
Yeah.
I made a conscious decision to switch the channel at that point to 75% server, 25% consumer. I'm deeply interested in both spaces, and as much as I like the server stuff, it is a lot more heady, and it will turn some people off who would ordinarily watch a lot of my content. But at the same time, if I can't get a hold of consumer content or parts and build a system at a reasonable price that you would be able to go and purchase.
Yeah, then you're just doing case reviews.
Right, then I'm just doing case and keyboards and stuff like that, and that stuff is just boring AF, both for me and for you.
Yeah, you're like, check out this new mouse pad I got, guys. It's super sick.
and honestly, that kind of thing does excite some people. It doesn't excite me, and I would not be able to get excited about reviewing a mouse mat or reviewing a new microphone, or that stuff doesn't excite me. I'm really excited about my new studio lights, and I'm actually going to make a video on my new studio lights once I get all the
25%.
Right. But we didn't see scalpers coming. We didn't see any of this other stuff coming, regardless of short supply issues. And
well, early on too, we were also promised with the AMD and the NVIDIA, especially with the AMD announcement, we were all expecting, okay, this is supposed, they're going to have this. They're going to stockpile this because they're going to come out with this huge graphics cards, and they're going to have a bunch of them. Right. And they didn't.
Well, remember, NVIDIA launched the 3090 and the 3080. I tried to buy a 3090. I couldn't get one. I tried to get review samples of 3090 and 3080 both. I I couldn't get them. The answer from everyone was, I would love to send you some if we had any.
Yeah. So.
And the fact of the matter is, the companies didn't have very many either. Their allocations were garbage. And even as the allocations have increased, and they have increased, the supply and demand factor of this has moved because I think when this all started. So think about back when the 3090 and 3080 launched. Yeah. And they announced the 3070 that should have been releasing a month later. Back when this all started, I think it was purely a supply constraint. It was logistics and raw materials that were preventing NVIDIA from producing more fabs. And the word on the street is just that. This is the first real graphics card upgrade we're getting in a long time as far as price to performance goes. I've talked about that, where we've been led along for 4 years where
we want more than a 20% hike or 15.
It's not even that. It was, you know what the best graphics card is right now? It's the RX 580, as far as like under $250 and plays 1440p and 1080p for pretty much every single game, near ultra settings at 60 FPS. It's the card to get. It's the budget card to get. If you want the best card out there, it's the 1080 Ti, and it's $800. Yeah. And it's like, that was the world we lived in. And then there's the other tiers too, but without getting too complicated. 4 years later, it was, well, if you want to get into gaming, the RX 580 is a pretty good deal at $199, so it's $50 less. There's the RX 570, which you can sometimes get for $125, although, good luck towards the end of last year. Oh, and here's a card that has the exact same performance as the GTX 1080 for the same price as the GTX 1080. Good luck.
Yeah.
And so we finally got a graphics card with the 3090 that was a monumental leap forward in performance.
Oh yeah.
We got the 3080, which was 8% worse than that card, and was budget. Promised to be $699.
Yeah.
And then we also got promised the 3070, which has better performance than the previous generation $1,200 card. We were promised that card for $500.
Yep.
But due to supply constraints, we never saw those prices. And then due to other political things and goings on,
there was a lot of stuff.
Plus the ongoing pandemic.
Similar like you said, E-Tech talked great video.
Yeah. Andy over at E-Technics. Yeah.
If you really want to dive into it, we talked about it last week, but great video.
Yeah. But we were promised these prices, and we were promised this performance, and we were promised to be able to get these cards and buy these cards and go game with them. None of that materialized. In fact, RTX 3070s, when you can find them in stock, are $750 or $800. And while that's still better performance and price to performance than you were getting with the 2080 Ti for $1,200, the 3070 overall is as fast or faster of a card, double the performance in ray tracing, and is $800. But the thing is, that's 60% higher than we were promised it to be. And that's what the retailers are selling it for, let alone scalpers.
Yeah.
And I guess the bottom line of what I'm trying to say is, we all in the tech industry and review space, and we are just as frustrated as you, the consumer, because it makes my job a hell of a lot harder. Because even if I had the cards, and I did one review of the RX 6800. I have an RX 6700 XT that I'm trying to get a video out for tomorrow. I'm going to review it, but just like I did for the last one, I can't mention price points. I can barely do comparisons. I can tell you how the card performs and what the thermals are like, but I can't do a deep dive into performance. I can't do a 12 card review. I can't do a price to performance benchmark, or, what's the best graphics card that you can get for under $700, or any of the normal things that would get interest. Don't get interest from anyone because you can't buy them.
Yeah, I know. When you're the only one, and even you, like you said, the the YouTuber, the creator, none of them can get hold of it. It is even harder. It's just like, what am I supposed to actually do with this?
Right.
Other than a light review, you can't talk a whole lot about it. And then because of there's such short supply of demand, you don't get to hold on to it too review, like you said, hundreds of different cards.
I have to send this card back in 6 days.
Yeah,
I don't even get to keep this card to test later or use in a build or anything like that. I get to throw it in my test bench, run some benchmarks, and go, well, that was fun. And that's really hard hope you guys enjoy the content.
Yeah, because when you get that card, you need to have that return value of time and effort it needs to take to make that video. Like you talked about before is, that 11-minute video of benchmarking takes you a long time because you're doing 4 different benchmarks against 5 different games, and you got to do it multiple times and everything like that. And then you get to make one video out of that card now. You need to be able to go back to that card, or at least, that helps. That incentivizes creators to like, okay, I'm going to take this card now. I can review it because down the road, I see opportunity here. Right. And that's been taken away.
Right. I no longer have the opportunity to produce additional content with this card. And so from a content creator standpoint, my time in benchmarking that card is kind of wasted because I'm going to give you an answer at the end of the video, which is, I can tell you straight up right now, it's a great card. You'll never have one. Yeah.
At least not for a long time. And by then,
when the secondary market hits and these things drop for $200, holy crap,
buy one.
But, so many videos, here's another card you can't buy. And it's hard to get energized for that. It's hard to get excited for that, let alone try to pass that excitement on to you guys. The 6800 was the fastest card I've ever had in my office. Cool.
Yeah.
That's about all I can say about it. I'd love to do more testing with it. I'd love to try some different things out with it. I wanted to throw it into a virtual machine rig and experiment with that. And, can I make a dual rig? What can I do with Looking Glass? There are things I wanted to try with it. I had that card for 5 days. I can't try those things. I'm going to have this card for 6 days. I can't try anything. All I can do is benchmark it. Or maybe just, I don't even know if I'm going to benchmark it. I might just open the box and this is really pretty. I might do some temperature testing. I don't know that I even want to put the time into benchmarking.
You should be like, I don't even know why I bother.
Right.
See you guys later.
Yeah, the benchmarking takes 8 hours. For one graphics card can take 8 hours.
Yeah, and that's a whole shoot day. That's basically a whole shoot day.
Mm-hmm.
That's hard because then you're like, I need to get this content out, and then you're like, okay, now I got to put another 4 to 6 hours into this video in one day, and this is just hard. You know, it's hard to keep going.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I want to see cheaper cards, not faster ones. We'd have cheaper cards, but the thing is, cheaper cards take fab time off the expensive cards, and the expensive cards are selling before they were even created right now. Yeah. So they're not going to produce a $200 graphics card because guess what? The miners will buy that one and the profit margin is higher on the more expensive ones. So just open the box and smell it. I think this is going to be a good one, guys. I might just make a cocktail in that video. Like I'll open and I'll make a cocktail.
You should like waste more time on doing other things and then just like 2 minutes on the card. Yep, that's cool, guys. Oh yeah. You know how all of your videos are the tech stuff, and then at the end you do your beer review or your cocktail.
do the exact graphics opposite. Card review after the credits. Yeah. Yep. But no, someone said you can tell Jeff is genuinely upset. I'm genuinely upset because the reason I got into doing this is I'm a tech enthusiast. I love everything to do with building computers, I even love benchmarking most of the time. I'm kind of sick like that. But
it's because he gets to drink.
Not while I'm benchmarking, I don't. My boss put some limits on me.
Not late at night. He's like, I'll just benchmark late at night.
Yeah.
Now, see, that's a video. Does this benchmark good when I'm drinking or not drinking?
Right.
That's a video I want to see.
Yeah. But no, as an enthusiast and someone who loves sharing my passion for things with the community, with an audience, why do you think I open beers? It's because I'm enthusiastic about beers. Why do you think March is Mixology March? It's because I'm even more enthusiastic about cocktails. It's just harder to do cocktails on a daily basis. And there's limits to how many you can do. or so many different varieties, unless I start getting into the how to drink. Here's the 60 cocktail breakdown of ways you can make a Manhattan.
Oh yeah. Well, then there's
what's
that.
the perfect Manhattan? I'm gonna make 60 of them and try them all in a day.
Oh yeah, but then you go and spend all this money on like, all right, I'm gonna try it with this whiskey, and then you have all of these bottles of whiskey and you'll only use 2 ounces of them.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
You're like, that's not a bad thing to have, but yeah, it's a problem.
But no, I am genuinely upset because it's frustrating from a workflow standpoint that I'm gonna have to waste so much of my time benchmarking a graphics card to show you all that you can't buy and I can't do anything with later on. So to me, that time is essentially wasted because I'm not the authority that you come to get in-depth, highly technical analysis of graphics cards. Those are Hardware Unboxed and Gamers Nexus. If you want the absolute breakdown and all of the ins and outs of the technology, they're the authorities, they're the resources, they're the people who you should go listen to the reviews. I'm an enthusiast. I will share my enthusiasm. I will give you my advice and recommendations on where this fits into the marketplace. I might approach it from a different perspective. I might give a different use case than they will. And I've talked about this before. It's just 2 different methodologies of review. It's not that I don't care about the technical aspects. It's not what I'm excited about. I'm excited to share a use case for a card. And at the end of the day, if you went out and spent X money on this graphics card, would you be happy with it? That's how I review things. I don't review a 1030 against a 2080 Ti. There's no point. There's no point that they should even exist on the same chart. But if you're interested in stuff like that, they're the authority.
Yeah.
And some people are. But that's not me. But because that's not me, and because I'm not going to put this onto a chart with a standardized test bench and compare it against the 300 other graphics cards that they have in their database, benchmarking this card for me is pointless. It's pointless for me to put the work into it. It's pointless for me from a work standpoint because you guys aren't going to watch it because you're not interested either, because you can't buy it. I can't recommend the card. I can't put a build guide together. I can't get excited about, hey, I found this way to get 1440p gaming for $700. There we go.
Yeah, it's hard. Well, your rant, you're not. It's not a rant. It was distaste. Yeah. I wouldn't call it a rant.
I thought I did really well with.
I don't think that was a rant. I call it a true heartfelt distaste.
Yeah.
Type of a thing.
And the thing is, at the end of the day, this is nobody's fault. This is absolutely nobody's fault. This started as a rant against nVidia for their shameless marketing tactic of trying to say, we care about gamers and we'd like to get the cards into the gamers' hands.
Yeah. We're
going to nerf Etherium and nothing else. Good luck, effers. That's essentially what that press release read like to me. And this driver release yesterday kind of proves that. Again, I don't know if there were any ulterior motives, but
yeah,
you call a fish a fish.
It's just another stack on top of the pile.
Right.
They accumulated themselves, and you're just like, because I'm going down this, I have to review the whole stack and let you guys know.
Correct. But beyond the marketing fails of everyone recently, beyond that, I'm frustrated for my enthusiasm because I want to look at these parts. I want to enjoy these parts. I want to be tickled by, seeing high frame rates from a card that costs $500 or seeing double performance from a previous generation. That's what I want to see, and that's what I want to share. But I don't care right now, and you guys don't care right now because there's no point to. And so, and again, at the end of the day, that is no one's fault. It's the circumstances it's a combination of circumstances that led us here that everyone's upset at. I can't be mad at nVidia for not making enough graphics cards because they physically can't. I can't be mad at UPS for not shipping enough graphics cards because they physically can't get them into the country. I can't be mad at Newegg for selling out, in 3 seconds because there's high supply and demand and people are using automated bots to buy everything. I can't even be mad at scalpers for taking advantage of a situation, because this isn't necessarily like a life or death thing. You can yell at the people who were scalping toilet paper and hand sanitizer back in, January of 2020 or March of 2020.
March, yeah.
It's kind of hard to be upset that someone's taking advantage of a commodity.
Yeah, I mean,
that's all it is.
Yeah, it's just something nice to have. And
right.
Oh no, you can't game at ultra high settings.
Right.
What happened?
What happened to the price of plexiglass, Lexan, acrylic as soon as the pandemic started? It shot through the roof. It more than quadrupled over the course of 2 months, because guess what happened? Every single retail space, every single point of sale system, every single bank terminal, every single ATM, every single drive-through window needed a sheet of plexiglass over the front of it to keep everyone safe.
Yep.
Were the plexiglass people taking advantage of that situation? Not necessarily, but supply and demand drove the price up, and at the end of the day, the plexiglass manufacturers are reaping the benefits of that.
Yep.
That's a commodity item. It's not an essential item. You can argue the essential part of plexiglass, but yeah.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, it's a commodity item. It's the price of aluminum. It's the price of steel. It's the price of everything else.
Yeah.
It wasn't hand sanitizer. You can't get mad at the scalpers. As much as we all hate them right now, and trust me, I hate the situation they've helped create. It's hard to take advantage of, or it's hard to get mad at the back end of those people taking advantage of high price and high demand, because that's how a lot of people make money. So, right.
So I know you went on, and I assume your drink is probably still halfway. Okay, yep, that's 9. I will admit, I am enjoying this. How is your cocktail, Jeff? We haven't gotten into that.
It's pretty good. I'm really digging this. I will say I added about a 1/4 ounce of simple, and that's really all it needed. It was a little bit too tart right up front. But just that little bit of simple, and then I just kind of swished it with my finger real quick. This is a
really
good drink.
Put it like that sour candy now.
Right. It's not even candy. It just took away the bite. There was this really tart bite. I think I got a really good lemon is what it was. And it was just a little overpowering. And all I needed to do was just calm it ever so slightly. And
nice.
This is really good. It's not... There's definitely citrus to it, but the citrus hits you like in the back of it. What you get up front is actually a lot of the grain flavor from the vodka, which is a really weird flavor to come through because vodka's neutral. And we added a lot of strong, bold flavors to this.
Yeah, a lot of citrus.
I'm getting some grain and a lot of the Midori up front. And then I'm ending with a citrus bite.
That's weird. I wonder if it's the mixture of vodka and egg. If that would be doing anything, because the egg white is more of a creaminess, and I wonder if that's accenting kind of the sweet notes of the vodka, which would bring out the vodka notes in your brain of like, okay, now I'm just tasting a lot of good vodka. Right. Which could mean that.
And right up front, I taste mostly a lot of good vodka.
Yeah.
With like a little bit of a fruity, it's not a bold fruit right up front. You get, like I said, most of the fruit towards the back of the flavor, and I can really taste that lemon and lime hanging around in the back of my throat. But yeah, I'm really happy with this one.
Good. Yeah. No, I enjoy mine too. If you like ginger beer and some dark rum and some lime, I really like it because the top half is just basically that rum hangs out at the very top. So you drink that and you really have this rum kind of, citrusy tropical drink with ginger. You get into the center, it's a lot of ginger, and then the lower it goes, you get this like ginger and IPA flavor. And it's just like, this is just this layers of, as you drink it, for some reason, nothing separates. It just stays right where it's supposed to be.
Right.
It's really interesting.
Nice. No, I like the way you built that drink, where you can clearly see the layers, and you can see them kind of blending halfway in between the layers as well. And so that's a drink that, like you said, is going to transform the entire way through it. So I like drinks that evolve. I really, really do. So.
My son is asking me to tuck him in really quick, 5 minutes.
Okay.
I bet you could probably do this next story without me.
Yeah, I'll probably do this one real quick and finish up my cocktail. And
then we can start on a new cocktail.
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
All right. So speaking of advertising, there's a familiar face that started making the rounds on TV late last night and early this morning. Now, when Apple introduced the M1 Mac, when they introduced the ARM processors, they brought back John Hodgman of "Hi, I'm a PC," and I'm a PC, or whatever the phrase was. They brought back PC in the same stark white background, and they had PC starting to be really impressed by the new M1 architecture. I don't remember the exact bit, but it was the same, marimba xylophone in the background, and kind of a cutesy little line that he did. It was fun. Well, Justin Long is now back as well. He was the I'm a Mac guy. But he's not doing commercials for Apple. He's doing commercials for Intel. Basically showing off all of the... basically pimping Intel and saying why you shouldn't get a Mac right now. And the way they start off the commercial is really funny because he goes, "Hi, I'm a Justin. I'm just a Justin. And here's a PC. Let's take a look at this." And he grabs like a Lenovo Yoga. And so he goes, "Oh, it's a laptop. Oh, it's a tablet too. Oh, now it's a laptop. Now it's a tablet." And he does this like back and forth thing. And then he goes, and here we have a Mac. Let me pick this one up. Oh, it's just a laptop. Oh, I need a tablet too. Oh, and a stylus. Oh, and it was a funny advertisement. But Justin Long of I'm a Mac fame is now working for Intel to try to push back against the Apple M1 and Pro Intel laptops. It's a very interesting tactic by Intel to try to do that. Now, there's a lot of people who will probably buy into this marketing campaign because there's a lot of people who were like me that didn't think the M1 MacBook or ARM as a desktop level interface or desktop level processor was going to work. I will squarely put myself into that camp, where as soon as I heard the initial rumors 7 years ago that Apple was considering building their own ARM-based processors or basically making their own silicon, I went, well, yeah, but Intel and AMD have 50 years experience with this. And you're talking about the two original powerhouses of system on chip as well as integrated circuit technology. You're not going to be able to reinvent the wheel inside of 5 years. It's just not going to happen. And yet it did. And apparently there were 66 of those I'm a PC and I'm a Mac ads. I have some favorites from those. My favorite one was hi, I'm a PC and I'm a Mac and I'm a PC too. When they were touting boot camp and virtualization on the Intel-based Macs, because you can run all of your Intel-based stuff or x86-based stuff on a Mac now. So why would you need a PC? And that one was one of my favorites. Just from the double take that John Hodgman does in that one. I thought that was pretty awesome. Taking a page from Sprint with the Verizon "Can you hear me now" guy. No, that's the exact thing that I thought of. Some people have gone, wow, desperate move by Justin Long. Wonder how that'll work out for him. It's like, number one, he's an actor taking a paycheck, and maybe Apple will hire him back later on. Who knows? But he's just an actor taking a paycheck. But you have to think from Intel's point of view, it's smart marketing. He was a very recognizable character for 7 years. I mean, that was a long ad campaign that they ran with those two. Just like the Verizon Can You Hear Me Now? He was on there for like a decade. And all of a sudden when Sprint scooped him up, it was, oh, we recognize this guy. Maybe I should listen to him. And you'd be amazed at how many people do listen to things like that. What about the one where Mac claims it doesn't get viruses? Yeah, that one was kind of funny and didn't really age well. Although I will say the sandbox environment of a lot of Mac executables still kind of prevents that. I won't say fully prevents that, and I won't say that Macs can't get viruses, because of course there's viruses that are built for Mac. In fact, there was one discovered a couple weeks ago that is a native M1 based virus, where it's native architecture. But yeah, that one was kind of humorous, where PC is over there sniffling and yeah. John just got back from tucking in Big Spoon.
Well, he does pay me for that, so. Mm-hmm. It's a private thing. I have to go to a whole other computer to stream to him to go to bed.
Yeah. I have Bite My Bits read me Go the F to Sleep in the style of Samuel L. Jackson every night.
I have that book.
Yeah. It's a good book. It's a really good book. All right. I'm polishing off this one.
Okay. I can go ahead and start with mine. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to, my second drink that I did a video on, Jeff, you're going to hate this. Honestly, I built it on the spot because I thought I had the ingredients for what was, I looked up, it's called a fancy whiskey, and which ended up looking like a really poor man's old fashioned. And then I was like, well, I can kind of do that, but then I was like, I want to do something for St. Patrick's Day, so I want to do something green, but whiskey probably doesn't look very green. You did
Aldebaran whiskey?
No, I used some Paps.
Oh God.
So I used 2 ounces of white whiskey, and
I already hate it.
The only white whiskey I had was Pabst. So, and if you don't know what this whiskey is, this is a
John. I don't even let my car run on that.
This is a 5-second aged whiskey. Basically tastes like corn. Oh darn it! I just lost the top.
It's about as close to corn as you can get while still being in liquid form.
Yes. So then it is 3/4 ounce of simple syrup, and all mixed together in a jigger with ice. I use 3 dashes of orange bitters and 3 dashes of regular bitters. And to make it green, I use my wonderful, wonderful green glitter dye. And throw all of that in there, 3 drops of that. And let's shake this thing up. If I have the top. Oh, there it is. It's really much of a cocktail. Oh, shaking. And then I'm going to use my Death Star ice ball. Yes.
I'm sorry, I had to walk away. I couldn't watch that.
And pour this over. Glitter green, old fashioned kind of.
Oh God.
I like to call it Alderian whiskey.
Yeah.
So
what else is in that? I see the glitter.
So this is a green glitter, 3 dashes of orange bitters, 3 dashes of regular bitters, and 3/4 of simple syrup, and 2 ounces of whiskey.
2 ounces of white whiskey, whatever the
white whiskey
bloody heck that is.
And then I shook it.
Yeah.
So honestly, it's not horrible.
Ringing endorsement there, John. I've also seen what you drink.
That's true. That is true. It's basically
Not the worst thing I've ever had.
It's the only thing I found that tastes somewhat decent with that Pabst whiskey.
Okay, let's get into an actual cocktail. This one's also a This one's also a homemade recipe, so please be slightly gentle. So we're gonna start off with juicing half of a lime. There we go. So about a half ounce of lime juice.
I'm gonna go ahead and add some more to mine.
Where did my jigger go? There it is. We're gonna do 3/4 ounce of simple syrup. And I do not have a name for this drink, so if anyone has any suggestions, I am all ears. This is going to use 2.5...
RTX 370? 3070?
This is going to use 2.5 ounces, and you can go 3 if you really want, of one of my favorite gins.
Oh, that's a good gin.
Which is the Big Bottom Small Batch Northwest Style Barrel Finished Gin. That's the official name of it. It is a 45.5%, so 91 proof. But the barrel finishing on this gin is so... I can't say any of the words that I want to say right there. Good. Is so effing good. This tastes more like a rye than a gin.
Yes. No, it definitely has a rye whiskey flavor to it.
Lime has no place in whiskey. Yes, it does. There's plenty of drinks that have lime and whiskey. So 2.5 ounces of this barrel finished gin. And you can get other barrel finished gins. This is just one of the best ones that I've come across. But you see how dark this one is. Like, I've seen some barrel finished gins that have like a light tinting to them. You want it to look halfway between gin and rye. Because you want a lot of that oak flavor to come through in this drink.
Yeah, it's almost a 50-50.
Right.
That taste to that gin.
Exactly. The other thing that I do is I add about 1/3 of an ounce. You want more than 1/4, but less than a half. About 1/3 of an ounce of Midori. So right about there. And then we're going to shake this one. There we go.
There you go. I was like, oh, that just went to me.
I can't do any of the fancy shaker moves kind of thing, but I can do the one-handed shake, and I've done the double as well. I can hold one in each hand and shake 2 drinks. So
you just do the maraca.
Right. And what you end up with is kind of an interesting looking drink. It's not quite as green as yours, but it's a much brighter color, I will say.
Yes, but mine sparkles.
Yours does sparkle. It's
like a warp core.
It's very special, John.
Yes.
Oh man. But what you end up with this drink is a very unusual flavor profile. It's spicy because of that barrel finish. You get a lot of, like I said, you get a lot of rye notes in this. You get that peppercorn. You get a lot of oak right off the bat. You get a little bit of char. But you also have this wonderful botanical flavor. And not even botanical. I'm going to say just like that earthy spruce and juniper and whatnot that you get from really heavy dry gins. You lighten it up ever so slightly with the Midori, and that lime kind of ties everything together. And it's just flippin' wonderful. You can garnish this with a lime. You can not garnish this with a lime. I've tried doing a lemon garnish, and the nose didn't quite mix right with me. Like, I've tried doing like a little lemon zest with it. I don't recommend that. It wasn't quite the right thing. But yeah, this is a drink that I created that I workshopped quite a bit, and I'm really happy with. So I've also made this drink with the Vivacity Native Gin, which is one of my favorite all-time gins. You can do basically the same mix, although tone your Midori down just slightly, do a 1/4 ounce instead of like a third.
Now, have you tried doing it with a cutting the gin half and then using another half of a rye?
I have not done that yet, although the thought crossed my mind. And so maybe using like a London dry gin mixed with like 1.5 ounces of a dry gin with an ounce of rye whiskey or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
I haven't tried that yet, but now that you're saying that, that might be an interesting one to give a go with.
Because that way you're not prohibited on the gin necessarily, because that drink sounds like it has to be that Burnside gin.
Right.
And because I have a barrel-aged gin here. Well, it's not rye though, but it's more of a gin than woody or anything like that.
Yeah, I have another barrel finished gin up here that tastes just like a London dry gin. You don't get a lot of notes. You get a little bit of color. You get a little bit of some more earthy tones, and I think that's just the oak bringing out some of like the spruce and the juniper and whatnot. This is absolutely like a rye though. It is, you get that peppercorn that is very quintessential to a rye whiskey, and this is just good.
That's interesting because I have a rye and some gin. It's like, I could probably make that. Obviously I don't have fresh squeezed lemon, but I do have a lemon here. I could.
No, you need lime. This one's lime.
Well, I still got lime and I still got another one. So I could probably make after show.
After party. Join the Patreon or float plane.
That's right, because honestly, it actually is a super, super, super awesome Patreon. Honestly, it is so dumb because I say it all the time, but it probably the best Discord. I've actually talked to other tech channels and other people on YouTube that are either large or small, and they are trying to start their own Discord, and they're like, I'm trying to mimic Jeff's Discord. That's how cool it is. Jeff's already got people trying to steal his ideas. It is such a fantastic community, and there's something for everyone there. There's car stuff, there's meme stuff, there's entertainment, there's pop culture. There is a specific one just for this show, Talking Heads. There's an all general chat. There's trading. So if you are trying to get rid of your graphics cards, there's a whole area there that you can probably do that. There's car talk. There's the super secret live chat afterwards. And minimum donation it's pretty easy to get in there, or you can join the float plane. That's the other one. I'm not as good as you yet.
Andrew says, imagine judging people based on how they choose to get drunk. There's a whiskey snob floating around in here, I feel, and I didn't see any of his comments, but I've seen a lot of reaction to said whiskey snob comments. We're all consuming poison, that's why they call it intoxicated. Right. There's no room for snobbery on this channel.
No.
Just like there's not on Whiskey Tribe. If you go to Whiskey Tribe, they'll tell you to shut the hell up if you say, well, you shouldn't be drinking this whiskey or you shouldn't be drinking it that way. Bull.
If that's the way you like to drink it.
Right.
That's the best way to drink it.
Right. You know what one of my favorite drinks to finish a night is? I'll have some friends over for board games or Cards Against Humanity or poker or something like that. You know what one of my favorite drinks to finish the night with that group of friends is? Cosmo. And it's delicious.
Because I wanted to...
Now, number one, I make a really freaking good Cosmo. In fact, I'm probably going to do a Cosmo in one of my videos.
I wanted to make a clear Cosmo because they have white cranberry juice. And so you can make a clear Cosmo, or actually be more of a dirty Cosmo because it's not completely clear. Right. But I was like, okay, at least that's something kind of different. Yeah. The thing is, Cosmo's not bad. It's really the glassware that gives it a bad name, a bad look. It is. It comes in the high stem martini glass, and the reason the Cosmo is thought down upon is because of Sex and the City. Yep, I was gonna say that one show.
And all of a sudden it's the girly drink or the the girls out on the town and I just want to have fun. It's that kind of drink.
Yeah.
It's the sorority house drink, whatever. The Cosmo itself is a pretty darn good drink with straight up cranberry juice, a little bit of lime, a little bit of vodka, and some triple sec. It's a delicious drink.
I mean, who didn't start off drinking, like when they're 21, going to the bar, cranberry juice and vodka? Who didn't do that?
Vodka cranberries are one of my favorite drinks anyway.
Exactly. And it's a fantastic. So you're just like, hey, let's add a little more citrus and a little sweetness with the triple sec. That's all it is. It's a little bit more complex version of that.
Dirk Deadeye says, I like mudslides. Go back and watch one of my first FreeNAS tutorials. It's not the initial tutorial because I think I had a beer with that one. But the 2 tutorials I did after that, I want to say I did a Godfather and I did a Kahlua mudslide. But go look at one of those first 3 videos and I do a Kahlua mudslide and I do it up. I've got the chocolate rim around the inside of it. So it like drips down and marbleizes and I make a really mean Kahlua mudslide. Want a Sprite cranberry? Yeah. Macallan and Coke? Oh yeah. One of my favorite drinks when I'm in Vegas. So you go to Vegas and there's open bars at a lot of the different events that you go to. One of my favorite drinks to get is a Scotch and ginger.
That's a fantastic drink.
I love Scotch and ginger. Either ginger ale or ginger beer. And I've had it, I get it both ways depending on who's making it. But it's a quick pour of, 2 ounces of Scotch and fill with ginger. It's wonderful. It is a delicious, delicious drink. Now, normally, if it's well drinks, it's Dewar's. And Dewar's is a fine Scotch. It's not the best Scotch in the world, but it's what I expect to get when I order a Scotch. They're certainly not going to pour me Johnny Blue or Glenlivet 14 or some, stuff like that. If I order Scotch and I want the flavors of Scotch, I'm probably getting a Dewar's. And if you want to go super cheap with a 12-year Scotch, Dewar's 12 is only $30. It's a pretty good deal. Irish and ginger. I usually don't mix Irish whiskey. And it's
kind of harsh.
Irish whiskey waters out very quickly. And so you end up losing most of the flavor of Irish whiskey when you put it with something else. I do enjoy Irish whiskey. I do enjoy sipping it either over ice or neat or... and there's a couple of cocktails that I like. There's the Jameson Caskmate Stout Edition makes a mean old-fashioned with a little bit of a coffee back end. It's great.
Oh yeah, the Stout Edition is probably one of my favorite
it's fantastic.
old-fashions you can make.
Oh, it totally is. But as far as Irish whiskeys go, I'm usually just drinking those. I don't mix a lot of Irish whiskeys. Scotch, American whiskey, rye, bourbon, they all hold up much better in cocktails, whereas Irish really kind of thins out in general. Dewar's 18 is possibly the best value. I've never had Dewar's 18, although maybe I'll go buy a bottle.
I'm still looking for that what was it, your 6-bottle bar?
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to see that before the end
12.
of the month.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
I'm going to try to put that together as the Patreon premium video. Patreon of Floatplane Premium. So hopefully soon.
Yeah.
Irish coffee, Jameson goes well. Yes. Jameson does go well in an Irish coffee. And like I said, there are some exceptions. But as far as like interchangeability of whiskeys, if I'm making a whiskey-based cocktail, I'm not using Irish.
Now you have the Kraken coffee whiskey, but the Jameson one you probably haven't had yet, have you?
I have. I have had that one. Yeah.
Is it not the cold brew or it's cold press or something like that?
Yeah, no, it's Jameson cold brew. Yeah.
Cold brew. I love that.
It's
I thought
so
that
good.
was
Yeah.
I mean, I think that tastes like seeped coffee whiskey to where the Kraken is a bit sweeter.
Mm-hmm.
It tastes more like cream and coffee and whiskey.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet cream and coffee and whiskey, but both of them are fantastic in coffee to make an Irish coffee.
Yeah. Tullamore Dew for the Irish coffee. I do agree with that. Although go with the Caribbean cask, Tullamore Dew. That's the way to go. Doers in place of vodka in a White Russian.
Interesting.
Ooh. Kahlua, cream, and scotch.
I think I've heard of that before.
I've not heard of that, and I'm trying to wrap my mind around what flavors would pass through and how they would mix.
But the thing is, though, the Kahlua is so sweet, and I wonder if it just adds that bite to it, because that White Russian is just so sweet and thick,
right?
That if it does just add that quick bite, maybe more like a nutmeg spiced.
Yeah, Skull says he needs to see what bottles he needs to buy for the new bar and the new house. Yes, I will totally give you those answers. And warning, it's an extensive list. Just gonna say. I ran out of room on the shelf and on the top. There's a third shelf up here that you can't see that's also full. And so the bottles have started migrating down here. So careful. At one point, I had 47 bottles up here. I think 18 of them were whiskey.
Well, it's
and 15 of those were rye. Like, I like rye whiskey.
Well, like kind of like you guys were saying last week, it's one of those like, okay, I want to try it, and it's not like we're constantly drinking throughout the week.
Right.
It looks like we're drinking throughout the week because we're like, okay.
Every time I see you, you have a drink in your hand. Yeah, that's 10 minutes of my week. Thanks.
I know. It's literally, I have 15 bottles of whiskey because I wanted to try that one. It's sitting on the shelf for 6 months.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think this bottle of whiskey is from last May,
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a lot of stuff I just keep because it's like, oh, I don't like it, but I want people to try it.
Right. So the bottle of Glenfiddich 14 that I did my I Quit video back in July, that bottle is still a third full. And I've shared it with people who have come over and like, oh, I heard you quit your job. Yeah, you want a shot?
Yeah.
You want a little snifter?
I need a reason.
Right. Yeah. So I have a lot of bottles, but I rotate through them on a very slow basis.
Yeah.
Jeff, if you can't wrap your head around how it would taste, it sounds like you need to make it. No, you put the bug in my ear, and which means I'm going to make that cocktail. I'll probably go downstairs tomorrow morning and make that cocktail. No better way to start your morning than with a white Scotsman, I guess you would call that.
There you go. Okay, it's 9:30. Do you want to do this next one?
Hottest beer? We can hit it real quick.
No. Did you do the other one, the DeepFake?
That one. Yes, I do want to do that one. That's what I
was talking about. Okay.
Hold on a second. Let me make sure I bring that up properly. Ugh.
Stupid. Because the beer news, we can walk through really fast.
Yeah. No, this one needs to be talked about. So we've talked about the possibility of deepfake technology that is cutting off someone's face, putting it onto another actor, and placing them into a scene that they ordinarily would not be in, or making a president say something he didn't say, or whatever else.
I mean, there are some good aspects to it, but
right. There's people who have often people think of politics when they think of this. They think of political ads or political smearing or whatever else, where someone said some really obscene thing towards a particular group of people, and it's like, well, no, I didn't. Well, we have the video of you saying you did, and whatnot. That's usually where people go with this. Very few people go to the area of, I'm being vindictive against one other person, and I want that person to,
do something,
rot all the consequences that came from their virtual actions that I created. Well, one Pennsylvania woman this week was arrested for creating deepfakes of her daughter's cheerleading squad rivals, putting them in compromising positions, and then sending text messages bragging about what she had done.
Yeah. dumbest thing ever.
I don't know that I ever in my wildest dreams could have written that headline. By the way, the lady is 50 years old. So her daughter was on the cheerleading squad and was either unhappy with some girls or wasn't getting the placement she thought she should get. Like she was a bottom instead of a tosser. Like, I don't know.
Well, actually, no, it states that the article states, and there's a couple other ones because I read some more about this, is that the daughter didn't even know anything about this.
Right.
But yeah, so as essentially that it was a competition was coming up and they wanted this rival team to drop out so her daughter's team would win.
Right. Okay. Gotcha.
And so yeah, it was she photoshopped and did some deepfake videos, sent it to them, and sent it to their coach to basically get them banned. And actually, I don't know if they did, but I do know there was an investigation, and that's how they found out, because the FBI investigated, got some IP addresses, and all traced back to this woman.
Right. So she could deepfake, but she didn't buy a VPN subscription. Like
basically, yeah. And my thought, though, was like, as soon as I saw this woman, and I'm passing a bit of a judgment.
You're going to be judgmental here, but I think we're all on the same wavelength. So go ahead and say it.
It is 50 years old. From the picture, do you think she's actually that technologically savvy? How good of a deepfake was this? Or was it more one of those really bad apps?
Right.
I think it's one of those really bad apps.
That's what I'm thinking, the face swap apps. I don't think she was using neural network technology to draw Emma Watson, shall we say. I think she was taking one photograph and singing Never Gonna Give You Up.
Yeah. Who would do such a thing, Jeff?
I don't know, Jonathan.
No one would ever take someone else's picture and publicly post it as if they were singing something.
My ding ding dong.
That was hilarious. I couldn't stop laughing for like 3 hours. And then the cat or
I was so mad photograph it was not available.
I know. Oh, I know. I had
Look
so many
at this photograph.
How many people were like, "Oh, we need that one on there.
We need photograph." Yeah.
I know. Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Hey,
I want to be a rock star.
I will admit, I probably took 2 hours out of my day to do that. Of like, this is too funny, because I did it right away, and I was like, "Oh, there's potential here. Hang on, I got to refine it."
I saw that you cut me out of the background. That you did some Photoshop work in advance.
I did some Photoshop work, and I was like, "Okay, I got it," because it looked. I wanted it to look good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then I loved the drum video.
That one actually got a chuckle out of me. Like the first one, I was like, John, come on, man, what is? And then someone you interposed me into the with the cat normally, the cat, and it was me doing this, and I went, okay, that's funny.
I was like, this is great. The whole time I'm just laughing in my office, and people are walking by. Like, what are you doing? I was just like, I just can't explain this. It's too funny.
Yeah.
And then I'm like 3 hours behind in work. I was like, I don't care. This is so worth it.
Ooh, you touch my tra-la-la.
Yeah. It's still so funny. And if you don't know, it's a super secret. It's on the super secret Discord.
Yes.
It might be on Twitter, but who knows?
It was on Twitter. Yeah.
But then go join Jeff's Twitter and my Twitter.
Yeah. Follow Craft Computing and follow some other guy. I don't care who.
So, but yeah, I'm there is potential for this type of software to be bad and to be used like this. And the fact that there kind of does point a bigger light of the easier and smarter this technology gets, it does kind of point to this.
The more accessible it is.
The more, yes.
Right.
And so man, the fact that this lady did that's just messed up. But.
It's messed up, right? And by the way, this was high school, so someone commented like, were all the girls underage? Oh, yes. This was high school. This was 15 through 18. Yeah, that's another crime entirely. Because apparently the videos were of the girls in quote unquote unladylike positions or compromising circumstances, or they were not kid appropriate, teenage appropriate videos to
but that's not for this channel's discussion, I don't think.
Right. And we're not going to get into that.
No, but as far as the tech side of it is that it actually is becoming more and more accessible and more easy to use for this AI to figure this out. And pretty much all they do is just like, hey, let's lower the resolution right now. And it becomes more believable. And you send it via low res text message and people are like, this is real. It's hard, and it's a cool, fun toy to play with. I mean, I've played with the big boy version, and it's a fun thing to do. But yeah, it's like, oh, this can be dangerous.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. No, as soon as this technology started coming out, now obviously DeepFakes have made, I'm going to do this as nice as possible, have made waves in the pornography industry for celebrity lookalike body actors or whatever else. There have been a number of lawsuits, a number of intellectual property or likeness or whatever, slander or whatever else that has been filed on behalf of actors and actresses who have been deepfaked into pornographic material. And that's not cool. And but as the porn industry goes is as technology goes. There's a reason that Blu-ray won the media battle. There's a reason that VHS won over Betamax. It's because that's what the porn industry chose. And so, yeah, end of the day, this is a terrible situation made possible by technology that was easily accessible to a woman in her 50s who wanted to discredit or leg up or whatever some teenage girls so her daughter could win a cheerleading competition.
Yeah. No, not good. So tech is awesome, but at the same time can be extremely dangerous.
Yeah.
So yeah.
By the way, we missed 2 super chats. Parker sent a $10 donation way early in the show, and I'm pretty sure it was a woo for my I got my vaccine. So I am fully vaxxed. Well, I got my first dose. I got the Pfizer. I'm waiting on the second dose. That'll happen April 7th, so 3 weeks from now. I can get the second dose and hopefully be good to go. My wife also got it as well today. And that's awesome. We had different appointment times. I had a 9:30, she had a 3:30, and so it was like, you watch the kids, I'm gonna go get shot. And then I got home, we had lunch together, and she goes, I'm gonna go get shot, I'll watch the kids. Okay, cool. It was fun.
Did you guys come here to do it?
No, Salem.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No,
I know the place here in town has been a big place to go.
Yeah. No, Salem Fairground or Oregon State Fairgrounds is they have a big facility there, and there's a Salem Health is right behind them in a massive building. But it's a massive collaboration effort between the Salem Health organization as well as Oregon National Guard was there. So I actually got stuck by a serviceman. It was
very cool, very nice.
But I got my sugar cookie and I'm done.
You're like, I want a lollipop or a cookie.
And I touched my arm and it felt like someone punched me again. I'm not having a severe reaction to this, and they say pain at the injection site is normal. But I will say it feels like there's like a softball size welt on my arm right now. It's just painful. But you know what's nice about the pain is I'm not getting COVID. The number of people who have said, well, this one lady was like 39 in Colorado and she passed away or, caught something or did. Yeah, but you know what the 99.9th percentile is? You don't die of COVID. Remember polio? No, you don't. So,
Jeff might be turning into Captain America. Yeah, just in that one shoulder.
Just in the one shoulder.
That one try. One is going to be like massive.
Yep.
He's like, I'm going to be able to do lifts on this arm. It's going to be awesome.
Steve says, wait till tomorrow. Oh, don't tell me that. I can't lift my arm above 90 right now because it hurts so much. It's a pretty good pain too. It's deep. It's like to the bone. And what's funny is she gave me the injection and whatnot. And I felt the needle go in. It's like, that's a needle. It's not pleasant. Your
typical.
Right. It's just your typical injection needle. Hit me with the needle and injected and then pulled out. And I went, it's slightly uncomfortable. Like,
it's burning.
No, it wasn't burning. It was just like something hurts. It's not like hurts, but it was that deep muscle tissue soreness. Like I just did 150 reps when I should have done 30. Like that's what it feels like. It feels like I've been chopping wood all day, John.
I know how that feels like.
Right, exactly. It's just this deep, incredible soreness. Like you overworked and you tore the muscle at the same time. That's kind of what it's not sharp, but it's deep. And it's not throbbing, but it's just overall sore. And everyone has had that feeling where, you normally
overworked.
Normally don't walk all that much, and all of a sudden you had to climb 150 flights of stairs in a day. Like, we've all done that. We've all walked to the top of the Space Needle or whatever else.
You end up going to some Vegas show and you're like, oh, I gotta walk there the whole entire time, or some tech show.
Right.
And you're walking all day, and
you go to CES and you're used to walking about 1.5 miles a day, and you end up doing 14.5 on average. Like, we know that calf soreness. That's what my shoulder feels like right now. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to promote muscle growth, but
well, I was hoping it would burn, or kind of had it burning, because there is a particular beer that might burn. I'm not talking about on the way out, but I'm talking about on the way in.
Well, maybe both. We'll see.
Maybe on the way out. Maybe, I don't know.
You ever had one of these? Not the beer, but I'm talking the ingredients.
the ingredient, yes.
Yeah.
Maybe not the raw, but
and did it burn twice?
No, it did not. Mm-hmm. No. Well, it was a 100% hot sauce version of it. Okay. So it wasn't like I bit into the raw pepper. Yeah. But anyways, there is a Virginia brewery, Maltese brewery.
Oh. Hold on, I'll get there. Keep talking.
In Virginia, that is trying to get the Guinness World Record certificate for the world's hottest beer.
Yes.
And it is a IPA, to be specific, and it is a ghost pepper IPA.
Yep. Oh, and sorry. Dang it. One of these will work. There we go.
The interesting thing is
Can I just say OBS? No, I'm kidding.
I'm sorry, it's not ghost pepper. It is
Carolina Reaper. Right.
Carolina Reaper. And what they do is they have it's called their Signal 1 2.0, and it has 500 Carolina Reapers per batch.
In the barrel.
In the barrel. So I don't know if it's per barrel, but it's per. They say per batch, and I don't know how. They don't say their batch size.
Right. It could be a vat. It could be a 55 gallon. We're not sure.
Yeah, exactly. Don't know. So what this brewery does though right now,
it's a lot.
It's a lot. Yes. They have a. Let me put it this way. They have a challenge there that if you order this is the only way to order this, is to do this challenge, and it's 10 ounces, and you have 10 minutes to drink it.
Oh,
that's it. With nothing else, no help, and you have 10 minutes to drink this 10 ounce of this beer. Now, Steve and I have done this pepper beer from Stone called Punishment.
Yep.
That one has ghost peppers and a bunch of other ones.
Yep.
Him and I both could only do about 2 ounces.
Yeah.
And it was like, no, we're done.
You also had the other one, that habanero mead. What was that one?
Yes.
Yeah. That one was also...
No, it was a barley one. It was a barley wine.
Barley wine, you're right. No, there was a mead too. There was a mead and a barley wine.
Yeah. But I think the barley wine is probably the one you're talking about, because that one snuck up on everyone.
Yeah, it was, you drink like 1.5 ounces. Like you get like a little 4-ounce taster of it, and you start sipping on it, and you go,
and it's a barley wine, sweet. You're like, oh, this is fine.
Right. You go, that's good. But after about 2 ounces, it starts accelerating,
Yeah.
and without even drinking more, it just starts burning more and more and more and more. And
oh yeah,
it railroads you. It really does.
It was Ordnance. Ordnance had a habanero habanero or ghost pepper barley wine, something like that.
That's right. The mead was hot but not overbearing.
Yeah, I think it was a jalapeno mead or something like that. But I held on to that cake for a long time, and I had to wash the line every time I put that thing on there, and it was bad. And if you know anything about pepper beers, now pepper beers can be a good thing. Some people like them, some people don't. But they ruin cake lines. I mean, that first time
we went to Block 15.
Yeah,
right.
And you had KBS.
Yeah.
And you were like, I've never had this before. Like, no, Jeff, you got to buy this.
It's on tap.
I'm gonna buy you a taster, Jeff. Let's get this. And this was back before it was available everywhere now.
Yeah.
And this was back when we did the
beer vlog,
beer run.
Yeah.
So if you go back to Jeff's original, like some of the earlier episodes, you'll see this. But what we're talking about.
It's funny is that's like video like 75, and it's like, that's an early episode now.
I know.
By the way, I think this live stream will be like video 394 on the channel overall.
Oh,
like it's crazy.
Yeah. It's been doing great.
It's its own thing now.
Yeah. So, but we were tasting it, or we were tasting the KBS, and you're like, something's wrong with this beer.
Something's off.
And I taste it, and like, there's pepper in this.
There's pepper. There's jalapeno in this.
Yeah.
Like it was very clearly jalapeno too.
Very clearly jalapeno. And they said, I think they said that the line had like a jalapeno beer or something beforehand. And I was like, oh yeah, they didn't clean the line, and it just lingers. And so, but if you are into peppered beers, this one might be something for you. It might end up being the world's hottest beer. So if you are in Virginia, go check out Maltese Brewing.
Yep. If you send me some, I won't open it.
I mean, I'd try it.
Honestly, if we got the four of us together, I wouldn't mind a 3-ounce pour. Like if it's a 12-ounce bottle, I wouldn't mind a quarter of that. I'm not drinking more than that. I don't know that I even want to open that in my house. That would be a garage episode. We have hot sauce shops in the area that if there's a breakage on aisle 3, they close that wing of the mall. I'm not exaggerating.
Eyes. Oh yeah, no,
it's this side of mustard gas.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. No, well, there's a lot of really cool hot sauce places around here. Yeah. Steve went to it's up in North Portland, but it is a hot sauce and tap room.
Oh.
And so you can go there. Unfortunately, they opened up like right when I think it was like February of last year. It's like, oh man, horrible timing. But I think at the time I think it was May, they were at 50% capacity. So Steve went there.
Yeah.
And so it's like 2,000 different hot sauces and 30 taps, and then a huge bottle selection too.
Yeah.
So, but
No, we were supposed to go to the Whiskey Museum in Seattle last year.
Yeah. Oh gosh, that was going to be fun.
Yeah.
We'll see.
This shoulder pain had better be worth it. That's all I can say.
Cyber attacks. We've talked about cyber attacks before in this show.
Yes.
Lots of times we've talked about that. But the one thing we don't really talk about is cyber attacks attacking breweries.
Right.
And why not? Because they're a multi-million-dollar company, billion-dollar company.
Yep. Probably.
And Molson Coors got hit with a huge cyber attack.
They got themselves crypto locked, and crypto locked to a crypto lock for the ages, shall we say?
Oh yeah. It's so bad they're not even admitting how bad it is.
Right.
They have not even admitted that it has been fixed yet.
We'll be back up sometime. Was kind of the press release.
We're going to be back up sometime, and we're working on it. Now, there was a 2017, I think, report that said right now, back then, they were running at $9,000 a minute.
Yeah.
And they're down for days. And this is affecting all their nationwide company lockdown. So this is bad.
Yeah.
Maybe more information will come out, but basically they just admitted to it just now. I think it was like 2 days ago they admitted to it, but that's the only information they even let out.
Yeah.
It's pretty bad.
These are the kinds of postmortems that I really like going out to shareholders, because I get to find out how bad their internal structure is. This is the on the level of Delta Airlines, their entire infrastructure going out because they had a fire at a generator in a airport. Yeah. In an airport, sorry. Literally their entire global network was crippled because one generator caught fire in a data center in like Atlanta or something like that. And it crippled them for like 3 days. Like no Delta flights could take off because they couldn't manage their infrastructure because they had all their eggs in one basket. And it's like,
no, that's not a smart thing. And I'm betting, I wonder how much. Actually, I do wonder how low level this attack is, because a lot of their programming distribution is still probably pretty low.
Right.
Tech of, like, say, the bottle machines, the fermenters, temperature gauges. I'm betting that's all still pretty old stuff.
I'm betting so as well. I bet it's computer monitored, but at the same time, once you have your batch, like, you can make a batch of Coors. Like, yeah. It's a formula 100 years old. You freaking know how to make it at this point.
Yeah, so, why do I have to keep upgrading my system to get that 0.001% efficiency above what I'm already doing now? Unless it's a huge, savings. Right. Maybe for them it is, but who knows? But still, not a good look for them. Really bad. Mm-hmm. Actually, as sign of a pretty good look today, is Budweiser is doing something pretty interesting today. That now it is St. Patrick's Day, and a lot of breweries do the whole green beer thing. They dye green beers. I think New York or somewhere, Staten Island, something. They usually like dye their river green. Yeah. Budweiser is doing green beer a little bit different today. They are actually, for the whole United States today, have been brewing all of their beer on renewable energy. Or I shouldn't say that. They actually have enough renewable energy certificates. Yeah. But all the beer today, they have enough. They are cashing in all of their renewable energy. So all of the beers produced today by Budweiser is all green beer or green energy. Kind of a cool thing.
Yeah, that's one of the main things that the Rose Garden, I'm sorry, I can't call it Moda Center. I just can't. I know. It's bad. That the Rose Garden touts is they are one of the only net zero carbon emission sports facilities in existence. All of their recycling goes to energy generation. All of their electricity comes from renewables. They are very big on that. And it's cool to see some companies like the Trailblazers organization and Budweiser starting to try to aim for this.
Yeah, and what's really cool, like I said, it wasn't just a plant. It was all of the United States plants. Now there are the European ones, but no, it's so a whole nationwide company, which is a global company, a whole nation worth, which I believe was like 14 large breweries. Mm-hmm. Which, if you've ever seen Star Trek, the J.J. Abrams first one, the engine room, that's a Budweiser brewery that they're running through. All those big tanks, those are full of beer. Mm-hmm. That's how big a single Budweiser brewery is. Right. They went and were able to do.
It's one of my favorite Star Trek facts is
the Budweiser brewery.
We didn't want to build an engine room, so we just filmed in a brewery.
But yeah, so all 14 breweries, probably around that size. Yeah. Green energy today. That's pretty cool. And they've been pushing for that type of stuff for a while now. They've been doing that type of stuff. So that's really cool. So it is getting close, but we can finish or get close to the finishing on a very high note because we always talk about something Trek.
If you couldn't tell from the decor.
And I'm actually really excited about this one because I love the makers of this.
Me too.
So the History Channel is going to be releasing a special series on Star Trek. And it's been called the best documentary series, and it's not just a single, here's a 2-hour episode. It is going to be a docu-series, 8 episodes, and it's going to correlate with the 55-year anniversary of Star Trek, so that kind of gives us a date of when it's going to be released. Should be around September, and it's by the same people who made the toys that made us, the movies that made us. If you ever watch those series, they're fantastic. I sit there and watch them. I remember playing with that. I remember doing that. They do a fantastic job. I'm really, really looking forward to watching this series. And there was also a little bit of spicy news in here too, was that the Voyager documentary just broke its crowdfunding record.
Yes.
And so that's probably going to be a thing coming very soon too. So we're probably going to see a Voyager probably documentary, and this is probably going to be end of the year. Going to be some good time for Trek, and then I think Picard is coming out probably end of the year too.
Yeah, no, they just started shooting Picard, I want to say about a month or 6 weeks ago. CBS announced, and so Picard is currently in shooting production. But no, those who know the documentary for Deep Space Nine, What We Left Behind, that was a project that started about 3 years ago and was a deep dive into Deep Space Nine, both its cultural relevance as well as the progression of the series and why they went the directions they did and what were the behind the scenes talks with writers, directors, actors, everything else that was going on. And a very, very well done documentary. Very well done. Which, by the way, you can watch for free on YouTube right now. It was originally a crowdfund. I don't think it was Kickstarter, but it was a crowdfunding campaign of some kind. I want to say it might have been Indiegogo.
I think it was Indiegogo.
But they raised enough money to shoot an entire documentary about the overall production of Deep Space Nine, and Star Trek Voyager just got its own documentary series. Basically, they're going to do the same thing with Voyager, and that's really exciting.
No, it's really and you get to see in the doc or the Deep Space Nine one, they do kind of a scripted last episode of DS9. That was kind of an interesting way of like, here's all the original writers, and here's how we would do a reunion show.
Right.
And one last episode, and that was kind of cool too. But then they talk through the whole series, and it's a very well-informed series. What I'm really looking forward to about this history series, it's not just going to be the original, series. A lot of times there's talk about that. No, it's actually about the history of Star Trek in our culture and all the different series and what it meant to people.
Yeah.
And there'll be episodes on single series. There'll be episodes about the behind the scenes. There'll be episodes about how it affected the culture. It's a fantastic. If you are a beginning Trek fan, moderate Trek fan, multiple, just huge nerd out, this is going to be a fantastic series to even watch. I'm betting it's going to be very entertaining. Looking forward to it. So we might even end up talking about it. Who knows? Come September.
Who knows?
I mean, probably. We probably will. Just be like,
John, look around you.
I know.
We will.
I know. We will. We always talk.
You can't stop it.
So
the ending of Voyager was meh. I agree. The ending of Voyager was pretty meh. They could have done so much. Voyager could have been. Let me back up. I think Voyager gets way more hate than it deserves. Number one. I think Voyager is better than some people say. It's not the worst Star Trek franchise ever. It's not the most divergent. I will say there's some pretty terrible writing when you consider the full 7-season series, as far as there was no character development from anyone. Outside of the Doctor and 7 of 9. No one was in a better position or a different position or was a different person or grew as an officer or whatever else from the moment they were swept up by the caretaker to the moment they re-entered orbit.
I mean, weren't they doing like in season 7, Chakotay is still going to take over the ship as a Maquis? It's like,
right.
Come on.
Yeah. And usually you see some growth of characters. Now we did see that Tom Paris and B'Elanna got married. Cool. Can you tell us some stories about that? No.
Yeah. No, because they just got married.
There's the whole trope of Janeway goes and finds Paris in the prison camp and basically like pays for his bail and gets him out and says, you're going to be my helmsman because you know the Badlands. And then there's and he's the disgraced officer from a family full of admirals and whatnot, and he gets swept away, and his dad is an admiral and an admiral in charge of finding Voyager. And so they make contact with him multiple times. And Tom Paris is on the bridge at the helm when they're talking to Admiral Paris, and they never speak. They never have words. And Tom gets married to B'Elanna, has a kid, and there's supposed to be this. They like built up to this whole like reunion, like the. The Family Guy, I wish me and my dad could hug, and then a band goes, wah, wah, wah. They were trying to build to that, and then that never happened.
Yeah.
The last scene of Voyager is entering Earth's orbit, and then it fades to black, and it's like, so Admiral Paris doesn't get to meet his grandkid, and Tom and him don't hug and say, "Oh, I've missed you, and I'm glad you turned into an officer, and this is great.
I'm glad you turned out.
Welcome home, son." Like, they don't get any closure. Are you kidding me?
I know. That Lieutenant Barclay has more character development in this.
Oh God. Like I said, the only character who grew from what they were originally written as was the Doctor.
The Doctor. Yeah. Neelix kind of grew. He went from the scavenger to chef's cook to counselor,
occasional away team counselor
in an alternate universe or timeline security.
I love that late into Voyager, like season 6, they're like, Neelix, we need your expertise on this mission. He goes, I've never been here.
Yeah, but you're our ambassador. Like,
right.
Okay. Although I hated the whole point of like, oh yeah,
that's asking an ambassador from Paris to be your envoy to Moscow.
Yeah,
it's like, I don't know what they do here.
I hated the way they got rid of, or they ended his storyline too.
Yeah.
There was just some really bad execution at the end.
Yeah.
There's some bad execution at the beginning.
Yeah.
The middle of Voyager, there's some really good stuff.
Really good stuff.
And then the end is just like
season 6 especially is a good watch beginning to end.
Yeah.
With really no lull.
Is that the Year of Hell?
That's Year of Hell. And a couple others mixed in there as well. There's the whole back and forth with species
8279
8472 8672 8472.
Someone correct us.
Yeah, someone correct us. Someone's got it. I know I'm 8 blah 72. I've got everything but the middle digit. But going to fluidic space and even the conflict with the Borg ended, I think, a little meh. Where they negotiated their way through Borg territory. Now that laid the groundwork for giving some humanity to the Borg and seeing them more as mindless drones, more than locusts. Because let's face it, TNG and DS9 only ever painted them as locusts. And you think of Picard coming in and going, no, there's actually some humanity to the Borg, and they're more than that. They're victims more than anything else. They're victims of an evil machine. But
8472.
Right, 8472. Thank you. But Voyager started laying the groundwork for that when they and that and the Borg Queen in Star Trek First Contact, laying the groundwork for there are individuals and individual minds behind the hive and everything. Yeah. So Voyager helped produce a lot of that story and dialogue.
Yeah. Now, and what I applaud them for trying was that I think with DS9, they kind of stretched out like, okay, here's our universe, and then here's this wormhole with another conflicting. So we have all the familiar empires of TNG at war in DS9, plus this outside enemy. So there's really nowhere else in the Alpha Quadrant, Beta Quadrant to explore. Mm-hmm. And they made Voyager essentially kind of almost a TNG regular series, but we're throwing you way out there.
Right.
You know, and you're out there. And so it is new species, new contact, new this. You know, it is back to
explorers.
Basics, back to explorers. Right. But at the same time, with a purpose of we need to get home, and that also gave a conflict of we're still Starfleet. Do we explore and still gather data, or do we just head home and steal everyone's technology to get home because we're more powerful than everyone else here?
Yeah.
So there was a couple of decent episodes of moral.
There was
issues.
There's a great episode. I want to say season 3, where Voyager encounters another ship from Starfleet that has been cast out. They weren't abducted by the caretaker, but they were cast out through a wormhole or some other method. I don't remember, but that crew took on a different mentality from Voyager. So Voyager said, we're still Starfleet. We're still going to run this like a Starfleet ship. We're still going to be rank and file. We are still going to follow orders, and we're still going to pursue our ultimate objective, which is the exploration and scientific endeavor of the universe. And I think that was great. But there's this other crew they encountered who had basically captured some
ghost species.
Some ghost species that was basically made of energy and was torturing them in order to progress their progress back towards Earth.
Yeah, they can essentially get to warp 10 easier.
Right. But you had that dialogue between the two captains going like, have you ever had to violate the Prime Directive? And Janeway's like, I've had to on occasion, but we try to stick to our guns. And the other captain goes, well, that may change. And he's like, I'm already there. And that was a great season 5-6 Equinox. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a 2-parter actually. I think it was a season finale and introed into season 6.
Yeah. But no, that was a great episode showing a dichotomy and a two different approaches of we could have turned into a Maquis crew, but we're a Starfleet crew. And we've rolled the Maquis into our crew and integrated very nicely, and we're working for the betterment of everyone rather than just trying to selfishly get home.
But in classic Star Trek fashion, obviously these two ships that meet had ex-lovers.
Right, of course they did.
Out of the billions of Starfleet individuals that went through the Academy, these two had B'Elanna and her ex-boyfriend.
Yeah. I thought you were dead.
Yeah, like, oh my gosh, seriously, that's a dumb plot point.
Yep. All right. We had one more. I don't know.
Did we? I don't think we did.
Oh no, that was it. That was it. Cool. 2 super chats from Spoon. Y'all gonna do Irish car bombs? Not likely.
No.
Jaeger's not my thing. I
don't find a reason to have Jaeger around.
I appreciate people that appreciate it, but I don't personally appreciate it. So
I don't mind sipping on Jaeger.
I mean sipping on Jaeger, but I'm not.
I like a nice black licorice flavor. So
right. Well, I don't know if you can see it behind me right now, but I actually have a bottle of absinthe up here.
I'm gonna get you a Jaeger chiller, and we'll put that in the background.
Right.
You'll be hit with all the sorority girls.
Totally. Yeah. Jaeger's not my thing, but I do appreciate black licorice But no, I'm not going to do an Irish car bomb. Andrew chimed in a little while ago. I put too much rum in my slushy. Oh well, my brew sternum is a little less of a bother now. Excellent.
That's fine with me.
And then Spoon chimes in with a $5 donation and says, why are there only 66% of the people who are watching this video right now who have liked the video? Get on it.
Right.
I'm paraphrasing because I lost where the super chat was. But seriously, if you liked this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up button because it really does help me out. Subscribe to Craft Computing if you haven't done so already. If you like the beer/cocktail part of this channel, beer mostly, go subscribe to Hops and Brews. Recently crossed 1,000 subscribers and would really like to cross 200,000 and start
really making the money,
going blow for blow with me. But
that's right,
you got to get him there first. So but seriously, he makes great content.
If I can get 61% of these people that subscribe to me that watch your show, I'm great.
Done. I think the problem is they already do.
So you're saying all of yours are bots?
I want 5 people to go subscribe to Hops and Brews right now. I want 5 people to do it.
There we go.
Go subscribe to Hops and Brews. Follow me on Twitter at Craft Computing to keep up with my daily shenanigans. Follow John at Hops and Brews to do the same thing. And you can follow him on any platform. He gets into all the Instagrams and the what's-its and who's apps.
MySpace is still huge, guys.
Right. It's coming back. It's coming back.
Coming back. I've been betting on it.
Yeah.
I'm putting all my time.
Yeah. But no, seriously, thank you all for spending a couple hours on your Wednesday night with us here at Talking Heads. This has been episode 175, and it has been an absolute blast. Michael says already subscribed. Sorry, John, already subscribed. Yeah, there's a couple
more accounts, people. Yeah. Come on. Get your wives involved.
Epos Vox would shun you right now for saying, just create multiple accounts and open me on 5 windows. It's fine. No, that's not fine. And you're not helping him.
Well, Epos Vox is a lot bigger than me. When I'm his size, then yeah, I can be like, no, that's not cool.
Right. No, he's talking about like Twitch streamers who have like four people who follow them and go open me on 3 windows at once. No one will ever know, and it'll look like I have 10 people.
Yeah.
Except no one's still chatting.
Open your cell phone, your tablet, and everything, and create VPNs and have them all from different countries.
Right. So, anyway, thank you all so much for joining us. It has been an absolute blast. Make sure to subscribe to the Patreon or Float Plane. Links are down in the video description to get access to the exclusive Discord server and join us in the after party starting in about 15 minutes.
That's right.
Where
it's in the description, it's in the chat.
Where we'll probably make another cocktail.
So. Probably, because, it's nice. Like you were talking about with Steve. It's not as bad ending the show this way.
Right. It's really not.
It's not as bad. I don't have 32 ounces in me right now.
Right.
That I have to go do something.
Right. Yeah. There's not the urge to suddenly stand up and run out of the room.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. No, this is not a bad way to spend a Wednesday night versus the 2 and sometimes 3 pints.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Catch us next Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific time right here on YouTube for the latest in beer